This is RD Sharma Solution Class 12 Chapter 18 Maxima and Minima we are taking. Exercise is 18.5. A rectangular sheet of tin 45 cm by 24 cm is to be made into a box without top. In cutting off squares from each corners and folding up the flaps. Now this kind of question we have just completed. So it was square the previous time. Now we have the rectangle. Rectangle means the opposite side must be equal. That is the shape. Now this is the rectangular sheet. One side 45, the other side is 24. The question is that what should be the side of the square to be cut off so that the volume of the box is maximum possible. Maximum and minimum we'll just talk about in a bit. Now this square has to be cut. That means all the sides of the square are equal and these are eliminated from the corners. So I'm making the square from the corners, and just imagine when you remove all these squares and try to flip these things up, the parts which are from where the squares are being cut. So when we fold them, there will be a box being formed. This box will not have any top. It will have a base. It will have 4 sides. So I'm just giving you an example what kind of box we are talking about. And don't worry about my diagram or writing. You know how well it is. So this is X. All of them are X. This is X. This one is X, X. Again X, X. So all the sides are X for the square. Length and breadth of these sides, when we remove the parts, because for every side there are 2 parts or 2 X's are being eliminated. For any side, if you see here in the diagram, then 45 minus X will be the side of the final board or the box that will be formed. Length will be 45 minus 2x. Similarly, 24 minus x, that means 24 minus 2x will be the breadth. How about the height? Because the side which is cut for the square is x, and when we flap it up to make a box, height will be x. Let us find out the volume now. Volume of any 3D or 3D object will always be in cubic units. Length into breadth into height. We will multiply these 3 and that will be indicating the volume of the final box that is being formed after all these formations. Now you need to multiply all these, or you can use the product rule, that is part product rule. I am differentiating now. So when we differentiate it, dv by dx, you can take 45 minus 2x and 24 minus 2x, then differentiate the x, that will be 1. Now keep 2 alive, that is without any changing, and whichever is remaining, differentiate it. Right now I am differentiating 45 minus 2x. Negative 2 will only remain. Same thing here, 45 minus 2x and x will remain as it is, but 24 minus 2x will be differentiated. And that differentiation is going to give you negative 2. All these have come. We have to equate this to 0. And because of the limitation of the time, I hope you'll be able to do the multiplication and equate it to 0. My intent is to give you an expression that is going to be formed finally. This expression, factorization, multiplication, differentiation, all these I have given for you. That means these are all your responsibility. Basic expression which is being formed is in front of you, and there will be factors x minus 18, x minus 5. If you multiply this, you are going to get the original expression. When you place it to 0, x will be 18 and x will be 5. 5 and 18 are 2 possible values, and we need to check for d2 v by dx2 double differentiation we are doing. After double differentiation, we have to check for 18 and 5. That is whether we are getting minimum or maximum, that is the volume, at 18 or at 5. So when we double differentiate, the expression will be 24x minus 276. Place x equals to 18 and x equals 5 in this equation which you just see of double differentiation. When we place 18, we are going to get certain value. Similarly, when we place x equals to 5, we are going to get certain value. And these values, first 18 will give you 156. 5 will give you minus 156. Now what do you see? We need maximum. That means we need a value of double differentiation as a negative. X equals to 5 is giving you negative. That means this is going to be kept, and x equals to 18 we are going to ignore. I hope you got the idea why we have taken x equals to 18 and eliminated or ignored x equals to 5. Sorry, x equals to 18 we have ignored. X equals to 5 is the final answer because they just wanted, the question is asking only about the dimension. When you have x equals to 5, length can be 45 minus 5 into 2 and breadth will be 24 minus 2 into 5. So this is the whole scenario. I am not actually finding the volume because the question is not asking about that. They are only asking about the x. A tank with rectangular base and rectangular sides, and you have a rectangular base here and the sides are rectangle. Open at the top to the constructed so that its depth is 2 meter and volume is 8 meter cube. If a building of tank costs 70 per square meter for the base and rupees 45 per square meter for sides, it's meter, what is the cost of a least expensive tank? Now just imagine tank is always open from the top most of the time. In this case it is open from the top. The cost is also given. What will be the cost when we take the base in order to make it? What will be the cost of making the base and what will be the cost of making the sides? Just imagine the volume, how this formation of the shape will be concluded. Volume is 8 meter cube. Volume is always length into breadth into height. When you have a 3D shape, the volume becomes, because this is a kind of cuboid, LBH. It would have been cube if all the sides are equal. But here we have the rectangular base. I'm making a rectangular base here. And I'm just, see diagram, don't worry about the diagram. Worry about the concept which is emanating or coming out from this diagram. Now just imagine that we have L and B as the base, that is the length and breadth for the base. Height, what you see here is the height of the box. Length into breadth into height or depth, they both are same and they are given as 2 meter. So this is equivalent to 8 meter cube in the question. So we get a relationship between length and breadth which is 4. You can put length as 4 by B and breadth as 4 by L. These are two equations that you can use or that we are going to use when we form the equation. The second thing which comes, 70 square meter and all these 45 per square meter, that we are going to deal in the later part. But length into breadth equals to 4 is, please remember, this is given in the meter cube. So L into B is 4. Now if building of tank costs 70 per square meter of the base, we need to find out what is the cost of least expensive tank. Least, what does it mean least? We need, after double differentiation, certain value which should point to positivity. That is, it should be positive value. Now next thing is area. What is the area of the wall? There are two things. Area of the 4 walls of the tank. So we have the opposite side. Let us take, it will be B into H. So twice B into H. Now the opposite side of which I am indicating is length into height. So twice into length into height, because there are two opposite say facing walls. 2 into H you can take common. So L plus B. This is going to be the final, say, area of the wall. I am just marking 4 walls here. Area of the wall will be 2 into height, length plus breadth. What will be the area of, there is one more thing which is the base. Now area of the base will be length into breadth. So you need to add, or we need to add length into breadth also. But since the costs are given differently, in this 2 into H, L plus B, H or height is already provided to us, which is depth, which is actually equal to 2 meter. 2 into 2 and length plus breadth. Now we cannot have length and breadth together. We need a differentiation. For that we need only one variable on the right hand side. That means we need to do some dA by dL or dA by dB. So total will be what? 2 into H plus L plus B. And as I said, we have to add the base also. Once I explained about the walls, the side also has to be given. And you see that what is the length into breadth? It is already given as 4. We have already computed it. So I just place 4 in place of L into B. So 2 into 2 H is 2. 2 into 2 length plus breadth. In place of breadth I am writing 4 by L. And this is 4 already, which is L into B. Now 4 you can take common. and 1 plus 4 by L. This is the total area, base as well as the 4 sides which I am indicating right now. dA by dL, because we need only one variable on the right hand side, so I am differentiating with respect to L. L differentiation and 4 by L you already know. Equate it to 0 so that we get certain points which we discussed as the critical points in the previous discussions. We have 4 by L square, this is equal to 1. L square is equal to 4, L will be equal to plus minus 2. Now, can you tell me why I should ignore the negative 2? Yes, because I know what you're thinking, because negative cannot be, how can the length be negative here? No, length can only be positive. What will be the breadth? It is 4 by L. 4 by 2 is 2. Breadth is 2, length is 2, height is 2. All the 3 dimensions in this particular example are 2, 2, 2. There is one more thing which is remaining, because we need to talk about the least expensive tank. We will double differentiate it. 4 into 1 minus 4 by L square has to be differentiated, and you are going to get certain value or certain expression, and that expression is this one. And this expression, what you see here, should be positive because we need least expensive tank. And since we have got 32 by L cube, and that will always be positive, L cannot be negative. 32 cannot be negative. So this gives us the least expensive tank. Don't worry about the values. Only worry about the sign whenever you are doing the double differentiation in maxima and minima. So now we have already got the dimensions. We have seen that you are going to get the least expensive tank. But what will be the cost? Cost has to be computed. So length is 2, breadth is 2, height is 2, and all these 2 we are going to employ these values in order to find out the cost of making this expensive tank. When you have all these as 2, cost is going to be what? Just multiply the area with the cost. So length into breadth is the cost, is the area of the base, and what will be the cost? Because 70 per square meter. 1 square meter is 70. So L into B square meter will be 70 into L into B. This is going to be 70 into 2 into 2. That is going to be 280. What is the cost of the walls? There are 4 walls which we talked about. If you remember, it was 2 into H, L plus B. H is 2, L is 2, B is 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 into 2 is 8. 8 to is 16. We need to multiply this 16 with 45. And this will be the cost of the wall. And when you see here 8 into 9, 720 rupees 720. We need to add both of these costs in order to get the total cost for whole tank. 280 plus 720 is going to give you 1000 rupees 1000. That will be the total cost. I hope you have seen from where we started, how did we end, and main idea is to find out the expression. Single differentiation, double differentiation, you know very well. Cost is also important. A window is in the form of a rectangle, is surmounted by a semicircular opening. The total perimeter of the window is 10 meter. Find the dimension of the rectangular of the window to admit maximum light through the whole opening. Now the light is going to come from the whole shape which we are talking about. The base of the window is a rectangle, and there is a semicircular top. The rectangle is surmounted by the semicircular top. X is the base, Y is the height, or you can take in a swappable manner, you can take X as this one, Y as that one. And we are talking about the circle also. It is half circle and the radius will be X by 2, because the opposite side of that rectangle we have taken as X. So the perimeter is all the distance you travel. If you start running from one point and just cover the whole line boundary and come back, that the distance you have covered is perimeter. Perimeter is already given as 10 meter. What is the perimeter? X plus Y plus Y. And how about the semicircle? If 2 pi r is the whole circle perimeter, the perimeter of half of this thing, semicircular, will be pi r. So just write pi into r, but r is already X by 2. It is half of X which we have taken. This is what we have taken, means we have imagined or guessed. Now X plus 2y plus pi into X by 2, and this pi X by 2 plus X plus 2y is equal to 10. This will give you one expression, and we need Y on left and other things on right so that we can actually differentiate. Whole idea of maxima and minima is to differentiate first. So we have an expression which is y equivalent to certain thing on the right. Total perimeter we have talked about. Find the dimension of the rectangular or whichever window in order to admit the maximum light. Now this light is coming from total shape. Area will be what? Area will be the addition of two areas. One will be the rectangle, one will be the semicircle. So length into breadth is the area of the rectangle. And what is the area of the semicircle? Pi r square. When you divide it by 2, it will be pi r square by 2 because it is semicircle. And I am now writing x into y plus pi r square, but r is already known to us, x by 2, we have just known it. And in place of y, now replace this what we got. This is a pi into x square, x by 2 whole square that I am writing first. And the second part or the first term I am writing later. X into y I am writing later. Pi x square by this 2 to the 4. So this expression is coming from the total area. So just replace this pi by 2. It was pi by 2 actually. Pi by 2 whole r square. So you get this expression now. Next one will be a equals this expression. And I'm just writing it pi x square by 8 plus x by 2. This is the whole expression which needs to be differentiated. When we need a differentiation, I'm just writing so that it will be easier for you to differentiate. Next thing I'm writing is the differentiated expression. And since the differentiation you already know, I'm writing the final differentiated expression. And you are going to get pi x by 4 plus this. All this cancellation can be done, right? 10x by 10 by 2 minus 2x by 2, 1 plus pi by 2. We need to equate it to 0 in order to get the critical points or the value for which actually things are being talked about. That is, x is the basic value and y is the basic value here. And we have imagined that as x. Now place this in y because y was already the expression. So you will get y when you replace x as 20 by x plus 4. Y you are going to get as 10 by pi plus 4. You already have x and y from where we started. X and y we actually let us or anticipated. But now we have got the final value. Second thing will be the double differentiation of this expression. And let me tell you, the double differentiated value will be negative pi by 4 plus 4. Since it is negative, you are going to get the maximum value. And here maximum means maximum light coming from the whole opening of this particular shape. We already have the x and y and the question is asking about the dimension of the rectangle. X and y is already known to us, so the question is done. Length and breadth, x and y is already known to us. And these are the expression we need to tell here in this question so that our question gets complete. And how you are going to write in your examination or in your classwork, let me just show it to you. So this is the whole scenario. All the discussion which I did is here. If you have any uncomfortability in making the differentiation and double differentiation, it is in front of you. But main reason of this question is not differentiation, double differentiation. They are just tools. Main thing is making the expression. That expression, if you make, all things becomes very easy. This question relates to the previous question in a way that this also has a rectangle as the base. Now the semicircular surmounted thing or the above thing, top thing has changed to equilateral triangle. Let us take one dimension as x and other as y. And since the base of the triangle is also x, let us start with the perimeter. Perimeter is the distance traveled on the boundary if you start and end at the same position. So we have x and y and also this x. Because it is equilateral triangle, all the sides are going to be equal. So perimeter will be x plus y, and since this is equilateral triangle, this also will be x and this also will be x. X, you can just start from any x or y. So I am just adding all the lines which are falling in the boundary. 3x plus 2y is already given as 12 meters because the perimeter is already given in the question. 3x plus 2y equals to 12. We get a relationship between x and y is all on the left, other things on the right. So x and y, we have got a relationship. Area is what? Now we need to find out the area because we are going to solve the largest area thing here, which is asked in the question. X into y is the area of the rectangle and root 3 by 4 into side square is the area of the equilateral triangle. Next thing is the differentiation, but before that we will replace y by x because we can differentiate only with respect to one variable. Now y is replaced by 12 minus 3x by 2, other things remains the same. Next is to differentiate now. As I said, a differentiated value I am going to write here, or the expression I am going to write here. You can just recheck it if you are doing together with me. 6 minus x, 3 minus root 3 by 2, and dA by dx is equal to 0, that we need to put so that we get some critical point. X you will get as 12 by 6 minus root 3. This is one of the dimension of the structure we are talking about. How about y? Y is simply 12 minus 3x by 2. Replace this x here in this y expression. You are going to get 18 minus 6 root 3 by 6 minus root 3. Two dimension x and y already we got. Next will be d2a by dx2. Double differentiation we will do. The single differentiated expression has to be used for double differentiation. When you double differentiated it, you are going to get a value which has to be negative, and we got a value which is negative because root 3 is 1.732. 1.732 divided by 2 will be definitely value which is when added with negative 3 will give you a negative value. It is less than 0, so we get the largest area. And what will be the area? Area will be, because we are being asked only the dimension, we don't worry about the area because question is only asking about the dimension. But there are questions which will talk about the dimension, the area or the perimeter, etc. We can just multiply the x into y plus root 3 by 4 x square like that. Okay. So if you are doing it by yourself, all these English-like sentences has to be used abundantly. That is, these are the reference for you. You can try it. You can refer it, and whatever I have told you, that has the logic which you can use in question like this. This question we are going to take in the next discussion. Till then, thank you so much and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.